I love nothing more than when people come to me and they're just like, give it to me straight. Tell me what I need to see. Do not beat around the bush. I am here for this. I need to see what I need to see. I love these people so much. They're my favorite clients. I love all of my clients, but these people, I know right away that me and that person are going to be able to go so far because coming like that and being like, hey, I'm here for truth. Tell me what I need to see, right? They number one understand the great power of relationships and having someone you trust show you your blind spots. Like they know that right away, right? Number two, just asking that if someone says, "Hey, I actually can handle it. I have a certain amount of not just resilience to be able to see what I need to see, right? And I'm not going to collapse in that, but I'm actually willing to see it and actually do the thing I need to do, right? So it really shows like quite a bit of character, sturdiness, resilience, maturity, right? Adulthood, and also the desire for growth. The desire for growth, right? And so many people come to me and they are at this level where they can receive truth. A lot of times the work that I put out there because I tend to be a truth teller in many ways with great love, right? I blend those two things together. People who come to me naturally are here because they attune to that as well. And I love that people also know how they learn best and how they can receive and hear information the best. They know that maybe they need tough love once in a while. They know that they actually can receive something if it's given in a straight, direct way. So this is beautiful. It shows a lot of sort of knowledge of self. So I love that, right? And the reality of it is that all of us actually, it's useful for us to know how we can best receive information. I really love to be able to work with people who also have this blend of, I know that they love me so much and care about me so much, and they care about me so much that they're willing to tell me what I need to see. So it's like that blend of love and care, but also truth that I talk about quite a lot in this work and this path. It's not one or the other. They actually you start to learn that love and truth become one and the same, and that something like coddling someone and sort of skirting around and not being direct and not telling them things they need to hear. That's often not helping them at all, and it's usually helping them to stay stuck. And so there's much to say. I have a whole video actually on the difference between enabling and truly helping people. If you click on YouTube on the live section, there's a full free hour-long class where I very clearly show you the difference between what's coddling and enabling somebody versus what's truly helping from an empowerment perspective and how it doesn't need to be one or the other. It actually, you can do this with great love and warmth. And so that's how I operate. So I love these types of clients because I know that they're like ready and they're like excited a lot of times to be like, just show me what I need to see. I'm willing to do the work, right? I just need help and with clarity and to be able to have you cut through the noise because we all get in these places. This is why I have my own teachers and mentors so that they can help me. I trust them to be able to see me clearly and to be able to reflect that back. This is one of the greatest gifts, but we on the receiving end have to actually be open and willing. And I think it's beautiful for us to actually ask our people, right? Whether you're working with somebody professionally or if you have this, the culture of this in your relationship with your partner, with your friends, with your close people, it is so beautiful. It's so beautiful. And this actually represents when I feel into the new paradigm of relationships, which is what I talk about and teach about all the time. This is like a big part of the work I put out there. It's like, what is this? What does this mean? A lot of it does have to do with coming out of codependency, which is that we like walk on eggshells sometimes with people. We maybe see things that could be very loving and beneficial for them to see, but we don't want to hurt their feelings. And it's a very codependent sort of people pleasing way of being, which people pleasing is so interesting if you think about it, because a lot of times what we think of in terms of like the things we do for people pleasing, actually people don't like it all the time. That's a whole other conversation. But I think that we're growing out of this day and age where like we have to start to understand sometimes that inviting this feedback and this reflection when it's coming from great love and care and like true, like it's oftentimes the most valuable part for me of a lot of my close relationships is the whole thing of when someone can lovingly hold that mirror up and reflect my blind spot back to me. That's like the best thing ever. I just want to spend a moment saying that for me, it actually took some time to gain a level of resilience because I was a very sensitive person. And I still am in many ways. I haven't tried to desensitize myself, but you can build your nervous system's capacity for truth, right? So this is also where if this is hard for you, if you can't actually picture yourself going to a coach or a mentor or even a friend or your partner and asking for truth and asking for feedback, like if that's really like a lot for you and you can picture yourself maybe not being able to receive that, even if it's with love, then I will tell you that it's something that you can work towards. And I would highly suggest that you do. This is something that I actually work on with people consciously if they have this as a goal, as part of their goals that we're working towards, which this kind of goes hand in hand with a lot of the patterning that I work on with people, because there's these different ways of being that many times all cluster together. And so this is something that can really help people when they move towards being able to just be more sturdy, right? And like the one thing right off the bat that I'll give to you is that it's a whole mindset shift that can be very helpful and can help you change in an instant. And when you accompany what I'm about to say with the deeper work of maybe doing some of the unpacking and the healing of the trauma, this can be beautiful. But mindset shifts actually are a great place to start for most people. And sometimes that's all that's needed, actually. And you don't need to actually go and do heavy lifting, but sometimes you do. It depends on the situation and what it's triggering inside of you. But the mindset shift here is that, like, we're actually all here as totally imperfect humans, and we all have stuff to work on. And it's just like this growth mentality of, like, yeah, like, wow, I have stuff to learn, right? I'm not good at everything. Neither are you. Neither is any human being. So, like, oh my God, like we're here to learn and grow and evolve. And like that's the human experience. So, like allowing yourself to have that be okay. And to most people label this as having a growth mentality of like, it's okay for us to actually be here and be really messy and imperfect and be willing, right? It takes humbleness to do this. It takes humility, which is great. We want to blend that in. We don't want to be overly humble or in like a severe amount of humility because then that gets into low levels of self-love or beating ourselves up. And some people are stuck there, but you want to mix in a healthy dose of humility when you're on the path of this growth mentality because it's just this understanding that no one's perfect. Can we all just admit that no one's perfect and we're all here to just try our best to be better humans, right? And so this is the purpose of relationships a lot of times is for us to be able to see through that container of relationship. Oh my God, this is getting stirred up. That's getting stirred up. Wow, this person's helping me to see this about me that I never would have been able to see if I wasn't in this relationship. So this is the heart and the soul of everything I teach about relationships and the purpose of relationships, both the psychological purpose of relationships and also the spiritual purpose of relationships. They're here for us to heal and grow and evolve. And we can't do this work in a cave if we don't have these people around us, right, reflecting this back. Now, this is a huge conversation. And if you're not familiar with my work, just see if you can look on the podcast or on YouTube where I've spoken about, where I've sort of dialed it back to the fundamentals of this path of relationships, right? I try my best to well, first of all, there's a ton of content out there. I think there's 70 plus podcast episodes. Each episode is kind of like a full class within itself. And that's an enormous free resource library for you. In addition to YouTube, there's a ton of videos, teaching videos, and there's a lot out there for you, is what I'm saying. If you're not familiar with how I teach about relationships, and the book Conscious Loving is one that I recommend quite a bit. If you just want to check out a book, I didn't actually discover that book until years after I started teaching about relationships in this way. And a woman told me, she said, "You must know that book because you're basically teaching everything that it says." And I hadn't ever heard of it. I had, for the most part, up to that point, I think this was 2018 or 19, I was teaching about relationships with the lessons I had learned through the fire. I didn't really learn this in school or study with teachers that were telling me how to teach. I actually learned it through the lived experience of crashing and burning in 2014 and having to pick myself up and heal and really rehabilitate myself. So that's where most of my work comes from. But then when I did read Conscious Loving after she said it to me, I was blown away because I was like, oh my gosh, I just taught a class last week about this and that and everything. So that's a really good resource. And I'm working on a book as well, but it's not going to be out soon. It's a very deep dive into what I call the war on love, sex, and relationships and the path to divine union. So it's a humongous body of work. But if by the way, that sounds interesting to you, there's three foundational articles on Substack that tell about the book and in fact, it's basically excerpts of the book. So you can check those out. There's three foundational articles on my Substack. If you go to my Substack, they're actually pinned in the middle. And the one that's actually called The War on Love, Sex, and Relationships is a deep, deep, deep dive. So let's get back to this growth mentality. You can build your tolerance and your resilience to receive truth. I speak often about how truth is a frequency and we can learn to stand in it, although most people are not good at it. I wasn't actually always good at it, so I have compassion always, but I had to build my tolerance, and I'm laughing because I actually was not willing to build my tolerance in a way that I'm suggesting to you. I was forced down the path of truth because I was really good at sweeping things under the rug in my life, in my former relationship. And the thing that loves me more than I could ever know, and that loves you too more than you could ever know, actually forced me to wake up and see the things that I needed to see. And it wasn't easy, right? I'm like, oh my gosh, that time was a lot. I was dragged down this path, kicking and screaming against my will. I did not want to see, and part of me knew that I had avoided for that relationship lasted almost 20 years. So not only had I avoided a bunch of stuff for 20 years, but then I was also in my mid 30s at that time, and I hadn't yet done any unpacking of any of my stuff. And so I also had 35 years of just my life of I never touched any of my childhood stuff. We can't skip steps. I just want to lovingly tell you, I thought I could. I thought I could skip steps, but we can't do it. And so once we actually willingly take the steps down this path, we're very supported actually. Then life, the universe doesn't actually have to be like you. It doesn't have to teach us hard lessons. This is something I talk about quite a bit. So the growth mentality, the being able to stand in truth, the being able to go into your relationships and actually ask for feedback, to be really, and even beyond all that, to actually know inside, this is literally my greatest blessing for me to be able to see my blind spots. For I can't see these things on my own. None of us can. This is the definition of the unconscious. The unconscious is actually something that gets profoundly activated and shown to us through relationships. This is like the primary thing I teach, is that relationships are one of the number one ways that we can be shown the contents of our subconscious, of our unconscious. So they are incredibly powerful. Um, and so I do work on this with people, right? And so, what do I want to say here? There's much I could say on this. But if you find yourself very, very easily triggered or dysregulated all the time, it's going to be hard for you to be able to go to people and be like, hey, I want you to show me some things, right? Because you're not actually going to be in the place where your system can handle it. And again, I always have so much compassion for people. I feel like for all of us, like if you're truly in crisis mode, that's totally I have been in crisis mode in more than one occasion in dark nights of my life. So that, but for me, there's also a difference between that, which is really understandable why someone would need like quite a lot of love and care and like not a lot of maybe truth telling. Like you have to deal with those situations in a very different way than someone who has built a level of resilience. But what I just want to say is that I do see that there is very negative, damaging programming being blasted at the collective, at your everyday person that is weakening their tolerance for truth. And this is kind of what I feel into is that there's an overall permissiveness to weaken people. I mean, that's kind of all that I'll say. I think I know there's some of you that definitely know what I'm talking about here, where people are becoming softer and softer and less resilient. And this is something that I do believe is part of the overall agenda to disempower and weaken people. So while I have so much compassion that not every single day I'm like, hey, like I'm here for truth, because we also can just handle as much as we can handle. And part of knowing ourselves is to know where is my sweet spot right now, right? I'm willing to see truth. If I have this conscious level of like, okay, here's the domains in my life I know need attention right now. I'm going to consciously be working on them. I'm going to consciously be working with this professional to help me here because I know that this is where I'm being asked to go. That's different from having everything revealed to you across the board all at once. We have to be really gentle with ourselves at the same time. So this is, you'll find this in all of my teachings. It's this combination of finding like the sweet spot, I often call it, of like, where are we working? In psychology, we actually call it the zone of proximal development. It's another way of staying the sweet spot where we want to be able to find our edge where it's most productive, right? We're growing, we're open to growing, but we're not throwing ourselves off the cliff. So, how do I want to wrap up here? I just want to say that I really want to see everybody have a little bit more openness to the truth, right? It is still the rare person, and especially in this day and age, that comes to me and they're like, please just tell me what you see. Tell me what you see, right? And I cannot tell, like that is priceless for me. When I find a mentor like that, that is absolutely priceless. This is somebody who I trust, who I know sees me clearly and is giving me this pure gold, right? From a place of real love and care. And that's for me is priceless. Because if you can find somebody like that, that is going to take you so far. So I think I'll start to wrap up. If this doesn't resonate with you, with lots of love, you can actually build your tolerance to be able to be open to truth. And I think it's very much worth your time. So I'd love to hear what you have to say about this one, how this lands for you. Are you someone that needs things straight? Like, do you actually ask people to give things to you very direct? I know a lot of people who are like this, and I love that they ask. And, or are you somebody who maybe needs things much, much more gentle? And there's no right or wrong here. The first step, I think, is for us to know ourselves and what we need and to be able to let our people know, hey, like I'm open to hearing stuff, but I need it delivered, with love and care. And that's kind of for me. I like a little bit of a blend of both. So lots of love, everybody. I'm going to continue to put this stuff out there because it's been sort of alarming for me and very concerning when I really touch into some of what's going on in the collective. It is concerning when I see that there's a level of um, fragility out there. I think that we need to love ourselves and take care of ourselves, but also continue to be on this path of growth. So lots of love, everyone.